I mean, I guess this is the way to saying there's a first time for everything. So, this is going to be an attempt at my first video. It may end up on YouTube, it may not. But hey, humble beginnings, we say. Don't know if I want to say this is an unbox video or just, a video of, stuff. But, welcome to Battle Station Zero, which is, going to be the name of the YouTube channel, something along those lines. And today's project for today, yeah, well, you see, I give you a little backstory. I have a Tryx Panorama 360 AIO. Been a pretty good solid AIO, been running for about a year, then suddenly it stopped detecting the screen. Called in tech support and said, hey, yeah, this is what's happening. They try to send me through a lot of random troubleshoot stuff, which, most of us already done, restarting, pulling off the screen, power cycling, all that stuff there, but of course nothing happened. They had me go through a few more things, trying to reinstall stuff. I've already reinstalled the software. Nothing. They wanted to remote in, and I'm like, HELL to the no. We don't do that. We don't let nobody remote access anything. And so, make a long story short, after a random restart, it came back on. Thought we were good to go. Fast forward a few weeks later, and here we are again with a screen that did not work. Went into tech support again. They wanted me to go through all this stuff again, and I'm like, yeah, already done this. Let me show you the screenshots of me doing all this stuff. And eventually, they either offered me to replace the screen or to refund the AIO. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be dealing with this. So, lo and behold, I didn't want to lose the aesthetics, but hey, the market is getting bigger, and I mean, this AIO was a good 330. So what are we replacing it with? There we go. We're going to keep the aesthetics, but hey, I've always been a fan of Thermalright. I've been there before, and, like they say, humble beginnings sometimes requires a more humble, AIO. But hey, we're going to install this one, give it a shot, and we're going to see what happens, I'm going to miss having the VRM coolers, but I don't do anything really to use any VRM coolers. And I do like the fact that I can actually change the orientation on this screen, because now where my computer sits, the curved screen being only one directional, I don't really have visibility for all the screen. So now I have options. And we like options. We especially like options at, $120 less than what you would normally pay for the other AIO. So, without further ado, we're going to try to get this thing open, and we're going to take off the plastic. We're going to do all that little stuff, try to show you a little bit of things. But, this video is mainly just for me to get some practice in. Just trying to start this thing. Trying to get those humble beginnings. And, we're going to also, of course, we got our MX6. That's what we're going to be using today. And I am also going to be putting a button in here while I have this thing open, another power button, because my computer sits away from my desk a good little ways. And for whatever reason, it seems to not like to restart all the time, and, being lazy. I want a button there on the desk that I can actually turn this thing off. We're going to introduce you to my computer. We got a good old Haven, case, 9070 XT, all that other good stuff. And we are going to start taking this thing apart. Not all the way, but we're going to get this AIO out, get it replaced, and then we're going to move from there. So I'm going to pause this for a minute and start working on this box, show you a few things, and we'll go from there. Alright, so we're back at it here. Man, I'm already digging this. It's weird that I would say this, but hey, this box has a interesting texture to it. It's very, very cool box. It's got a reflective, sheen to it, and it's like, it's weird to have this kind of a box for an AIO that's considerably cheaper than the one I'm taking out, which had a pretty plain Jane presentation. It wasn't that bad, but we're about to get this box open and see what's in it. I mean, I'm sorry about any of the light, the filming, the wobbling. This is, like I said, this is a first time thing. We got humble beginnings going on here. I'm not some person who's got all this equipment going on just yet. I'm just someone who decided they wanted to try to, do some filming here. Sorry about the mess around the station. Got a couple of projects going on. The whole man cave itself is still a work in progress. So, we're getting there slowly but surely. And, so please be patient. I mean, criticism is welcome, but, hey, let's get the support and just, and let's see what's going on. But let's open this box up and see what we got. We got our WonderVision book here. Of course, this is the Thermalright WonderVision 360 Aio. And, oh, you can smell that new smell. I always like that smell. Always a great smell to have. But, outside the box, the presentation is pretty much close to the presentation of the other one. And, of course, like I said, a fraction of the price. You're going to have your radiator here. We got your screen here, and we'll do a little bit of, a little comparison of the size. We'll compare what's going on. Of course, my AIO currently does not have stock fans in it because, didn't really care for the stock fans in that one. I don't necessarily. Thermalright fans tend to perform pretty well, but even in this one, I don't know if I actually. I mean, I'm not going to keep the fan because the fans that I have match each other, but Thermalright fans tend to perform alright. No real complaints about most things Thermalright, but hey, we got to make sure the aesthetics of the system stay on point. Of course, this is going to be a little bit different because this AIO, unlike a lot of AIOs, unlike all the other AIOs, has this weird extra piece. So, I mean, I got this in the Haven HS420, so room is not going to be a problem. Room is definitely not an issue. But like my current fans, this is a one-piece fan, which is great. You only have one cable there, so you only got to worry about plugging in one, and then everything else works off of it. Starting to really dig these single, module fans, whatever you want to call them. I just, I think for the cable management is great. I like the way it looks. Unfortunately, if one goes out, then they're all out. So, that's the only drawback about having a fan that's like that. But hey, so far, mine have been pretty good. I currently, right now, in my system, have the Jonesboro fans, and I really like these fans. They've been performing well. Good airflow, silent, all that other good stuff. But yes, we're going to, oh yeah. See, the ratios on this screen is a bit different than what's on the Tryx, however they want to do it. You know, you have a much, I guess, longer screen on this side, and it's a bit shorter on this side. Whereas this one, you see, it's pretty much somewhat the same on both sides, which is not bad, but because you can't really, you know, this one has to go on and off the exact same way. You can't rotate it, you can't move it unless you move the whole entire thing. But with this one, supposedly you can actually adjust it and move it however you need to without having to take off the AIO and try to spin it around or anything like that. So I think overall this is going to be good because I could make it a waterfall if I want to, do a waterfall orientation. But even that will make it to where you can't see the top side of the screen, so you're losing a little bit of real estate, you know. But for me, the way that my computer is angled, I'm going to want it like this. Because my computer will be angled more like this so that I will actually be able to see a little bit of this. But majority of things is going to be on the front end. And with this one here, I was literally only seeing this part of the screen. So we're looking forward to that. And, you know, we're going to get ready to get started on this. Start taking this PC apart. We're going to clean it up a little bit while we're doing it. And then we're going to install this button down here on our onto our motherboard. And then go from there. Hopefully I can get this done ASAP so I can get back to my games. But hey, this is the first time for everything. Thank you for watching, and peace out, and hope you enjoy your day. God bless.